His name was Axel, a man with a past carved in hard roads and darker nights. Tattoos ran across his arms like maps of choices he could never erase. People usually feared him before they even heard him speak, because they saw the leather vest, the chain at his side, and the fire behind his eyes. They didn't know the man who once dreamed of protecting people, of living a life that wasn't defined by violence. Life just had a twisted way of pushing him toward battles he never asked for. And tonight, one more had just found him. He knelt down, feeling her trembling breath against his palm. She was conscious enough to flinch at his touch, expecting more pain. She thought he was one of them, one of the men in the booths who sat watching, acting like they weren't part of the destruction on the floor. Fear was pouring off her like sweat. Axel scanned the room silently, a storm forming under his stern expression. The cowardice of the people sitting there made his blood burn. This wasn't just cruelty, this was dominance, the kind that came from bullies who believed no one dared to fight back. The woman's hand reached weakly toward him, and for a second Axel felt something he hadn't felt in years, the urge to care. Her whisper was shaky, barely audible, but he heard the plea embedded inside it. She needed help. She needed safety. And right now, he was the only one who could give her that. He lifted her carefully, his movement surprisingly gentle for someone built like a weapon. Each step toward the bar's exit felt like a vow, a promise that he wouldn't leave her fate in the hands of monsters. Outside, sunlight hit them like a spotlight, revealing bruises on her arms, her cheek, and a cut along her lip. Axel gritted his teeth. He had spent too many years witnessing injustice without stepping in. The old him, the one who used to intervene, the one who cared, began clawing back to the surface. He carried her to his bike, laying her against his jacket so she wouldn't touch the burning seat. She shut her eyes, not from fear anymore, but from relief, because she knew she was finally safe. Axel wasn't a saint. He wasn't the kind of man who saved people. Yet here he was, driven by something deeper than rules or reputation. He roared toward the nearest hospital, the wind tearing at his hair, his heart pounding with a purpose he never asked for but desperately needed. At the hospital, doctors rushed her inside. Axel stayed behind, pacing, clenching his fists until his knuckles turned white. He wasn't scared of blood or broken bones, he was terrified of losing the tiny spark of trust she had placed in him. Hours passed. When a doctor finally approached, Axel braced for a verdict. But she survived, and she was asking for him. He stepped into her room, unsure how to stand or breathe. She looked so different now, broken still, but alive. Gratitude shimmered in her eyes. She told him her name was Elena. The men at the bar weren't strangers, they were her captors. She had run from an abusive marriage with a powerful man who believed she belonged to him, body and soul. Today, they found her. Her voice trembled but never cracked. She had endured more than most ever would. Axel felt something shift inside him, the realization that their paths crossing wasn't an accident. He saw strength in her that humbled him. A quiet, fierce courage. And though she had every reason to fear him, a biker covered in shadows, she didn't. Healing wasn't a straight line. She still woke up in panic sometimes, still flinched when a door slammed too hard. But Axel stayed. He guarded her without ever claiming her. He helped her stand, helped her regain the life she deserved. Days turned into weeks. Elena healed slowly, rediscovering laughter in small moments. She would sit on the back of Axel's bike, the wind brushing through her hair like freedom itself. She wasn't his possession, she was his reason to be better. One evening, they returned to that same bar, not for revenge, but for closure. The men who once hurt her were gone, arrested because Axel refused to stay silent. And the silence inside the bar felt different this time, like justice. Elena squeezed his hand. She wasn't scared anymore. And Axel didn't feel like a monster pretending to be a hero. For once, he felt like the man he had always wanted to be. Because saving her didn't just pull her out of darkness, it dragged him into the light. As the sun melted behind the horizon, Elena looked up at him with eyes full of trust and hope. Axel realized that he didn't walk into her life to save her, she appeared in his life to save him. He came for a drink. He left with a purpose. And together, they rode away, not escaping from danger anymore, but chasing a future that felt like home. Red Heart, if this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement helps others find these emotional stories too. Memo before you scroll, comment, kindness wins, if you believe one moment of courage can change someone's entire life. Thank you for listening. May we all find the strength to protect the vulnerable, the courage to stand up against cruelty, and the heart to give second chances, even to ourselves.